Hello, my name is Vladimir Petrovic and I am making a video game by myself. But it's more than just a game, it's something personal. This is something I wanted to do for a very long time. I want to tell a story that really means a lot to me, something to help unpack my childhood trauma. The game is a Souls-like action RPG inspired by Elden Ring, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and surprisingly enough, Max Payne. There's just something incredibly satisfying about how Elden Ring handles combat. Every swing of your weapon feels deliberate. Every attack, every dodge, every parry has its own weight. It's not about mindlessly mashing buttons, it's also about timing and reading your opponent. You can feel the difference between a light dagger swing and a massive great sword swing. The animations and sound designs work together to make every encounter feel tense. And what I love most is that the combat doesn't hold your hand. You're rewarded for learning the enemy patterns and punished for rushing in. It gives you this incredible sense of mastery the more you play it. When you finally dodge that boss's attack and land a counter hit, that is a feeling that few games can replicate. Playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice feels like stepping into the mind of someone who has been destroyed by the trauma that they endured in the past. The game doesn't just tell you that Senua is struggling, it places you in her struggle. The whispers, the hallucinations, the way the world changes is a reflection of what she's feeling on the inside. You start to realize that her trauma is not just some background lore, it's part of the game itself. Every moment, every fight is a metaphor for her internal battle. You're not just fighting enemies, you're fighting fear, doubt, and guilt. And by the end, you don't just understand her pain, you feel it. And that's what makes Hellblade so beautiful. It's empathy through design. In Max Payne, that is one of the first games I played that dealt with grief and trauma. When I first played Max Payne, I was too young to understand what it was trying to show. On the surface level, it looked really cool, like slow-mo gunfights, trench coats, the classic noir narration. But underneath all the bullets and one-liners was something deeply emotional. It was a story about loss, a man who lost it all and now is trying to figure out what to do with that grief inside him. The slow motion gunplay was cool for sure. You felt like you were the man gunning through all these enemies, but then the game would rip that away from you. Those nightmare sequences still stick with me even after 20 years. The endless blood trails, the crying baby, the world just melted into this pit of grief and madness. As a kid, I didn't really understand what all of it meant, but I felt it. There was this heaviness, this sadness that lingered even after I turned off the game. Looking back now, Max Payne wasn't just a shooter. It was one of the first games to show that even the toughest characters can break, and sometimes grief can be even more terrifying than any enemy or monster. Underneath the mechanics and the gameplay of those games is something deeper. It's trauma. The game that I am making is about what it's like to grow up under the shadow of somebody else's pain. It's about how the untreated trauma of others, especially a parent, can influence you in ways that you may not even realize, especially when you're young. Over time, those unhealed parts of them start to shape you. The anger, the silence, the unpredictability, all of that seeps into how you view the world and how you view yourself. My game is about that process, about inheriting trauma without understanding it and then trying to break free from it later on. In the game, you play as a young man or woman who lives on a farm isolated from all others. It's a quiet life, almost too quiet. You can feel tension in the air even when nothing's happening. The farm feels like a cage disguised as a home. One day something happens, I won't reveal what, but in that moment, that shift, it puts everything into motion. It's the spark that leads you to leave the only world you've ever known. From there, the game opens up. The game is about understanding where you're from and confronting what you've been running away from. If you ever looked up Soulslike development on YouTube, you've probably heard of the name Sebastian Graves. I just recently finished episode 118. That's hundreds of hours of learning and coding and refining, and to be honest, I would have not been able to get this far without this man's help. Every episode feels like a step forward to achieving something that I once thought would be impossible. And I thought this is the perfect milestone to start a YouTube channel, to show my progress, and to try to do things a little differently than a tutorial does. Level design is harder than I expected, like way harder, and sometimes it's just frustrating trying to make the level look real. You watch all the tutorials you want, but nothing really prepares you for the amount of effort you need to put in to make these places feel believable. Every wall, every doorway, every patch of grass needs to be in the right place. And when you're doing it alone, the process can feel endless. It made me realize how much effort goes into the games that I've been playing throughout my life. Seeing how difficult it was also made me doubt myself too. But the thing is, I realized with not just this, but with other things before, doubt is inevitable at some point in our life. There were moments where I did think maybe I'm not cut out for this, but I get past those feelings now. They tend to happen when we do things that truly matter to us. And from my perspective, you can't get rid of feelings, but we can transform them into something that can help us. Now, when I start to feel doubt, I see that as a sign that I am pushing past my limits. Every time I work through it, I come out a little better, a little more confident. All in all, this video is about the progress I've made and also the journey ahead. I don't have everything figured out, not even close, but that's kind of the point. Every mistake, small victory, or breakthrough is part of the journey. This channel is where I'll be sharing my game, The Cult of the Hidden Tower. The ups, the downs, the story, the process, all of it. You'll see me build, failed, and then rebuild again. You'll see the game take shape, not just technically, but emotionally as well. Because for me, this isn't just about creating a game, it's making something that you can feel. And if you're into that, I'd love to have you on this journey with me. I can't wait to see where this channel goes, and thanks for watching.